Hi, I'm Elizabeth Fries with the Human Services Center, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how to talk to your kids about money. So, we're going to get started with this video about shaping your child's money mindset from PNC.
Hi, I'm Patrice Washington, and I'm the creator of RealMoneyAnswers.com. Parents, you know kids watch everything we do. They soak it all in, learning even when we don't realize it. It's why we have swear jars. It's why we try to eat right in front of them, to instill good behaviors. Well, the same goes for money and finances. Instill good money behaviors in your children now, and you can watch them bear fruit later on. Now, I'm a grown woman and I take full responsibility for my own actions, but I also know that some of my money habits were formed way before I even knew what was happening. So, how can you help shape your child's money mindset? The way you do with any other positive habits you want to instill in them. I'll give you a few tips to help you on. First, talk about money. You know, growing up in my house, we never talked about money. But on the weekends, when I went shopping with my mom, spending money sure seemed like a lot of fun. Every time she opened her wallet, it was this amazing and colorful display of credit cards. I was always in awe. I mean, it was impressive, especially to a little kid. I wanted to be able to get whatever I wanted, just like she did. I wanted all the salespeople to know my name, just like they knew hers. I just wanted to be a grown-up. Sure, your family finances may be something you don't want to concern the kids with, but being upfront about monthly bills, budgets, paying on time, shopping, even paychecks will get them used to the idea that money does come from somewhere, and it has a purpose greater than buying ourselves fun things. Letting them know the process can help them gain a lot of perspective. You don't have to be specific about amounts, but including them could be both fun and beneficial. Next, give them an allowance. Growing up, I got an allowance, but I was never told how to save or spend it. It was just money in my pocket, and I typically used it for immediate gratification. And it's a habit I took into adulthood because I really knew no other way. Paying a child a weekly allowance for chores or other age-appropriate tasks can be a great way to get them to learn how to value money. Many kids think money grows on trees, and they think their parents are their personal tellers. But making them work for money and then helping them save for special items they want can hugely impact and shape spending habits in the future. And last, just be committed. Treat teaching your child about money with the same importance you place on brushing their teeth every night, or even wearing a seatbelt, or saying please and thank you. Consistency is what helps create habits. Just make sure you're teaching your children the right ones. Had I been taught about money early on, I sincerely doubt I would have been in $18,000 in credit card debt after just 4 years of college. Thank goodness I was able to get my act together. I assessed where I went wrong and got myself on track. Trust me, you don't want to hear your 21-year-old kid crying to you about their debt, so start early. My journey began at 4 years old when I carried my mom's expired credit cards in my toy purse, all because it made me feel grown up. But talking about money early on and helping your children save and set goals for the things they want can help create a positive money mindset they'll take into adulthood.
All right. So as Patrice had mentioned, it's really important to talk to your kids about money. It's never too early to start talking about money, and learning about healthy money habits at a young age is going to help them manage their money when they're older. Your children are watching you, even when you don't think they are. So talking out loud about how you make money decisions reinforces what they see you do with your money and helps teach them how to think about money. So the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, researched and came up with 3 building blocks for money skills. These 3 concepts can be taught to children of all ages and can form the foundation of their money skills in adulthood. The first one is executive function. Executive function is the thinking skills and abilities needed to plan ahead, focus attention, remember information, practice self-control, and juggle multiple tasks. People need the skills associated with executive function to do things like set financial goals, decide when to buy and when to save, and make and follow a budget, all of which contribute to adult financial well-being. The second building block is financial habits and values. The values, standards, routine practices, and rules to live by used to navigate day-to-day financial life. Financial habits and values allow a person to more easily make financial decisions based on their attitudes, values, emotions, social norms, and contextual cues. These skills help a person decide what's desirable and possible financially and guide their day-to-day behaviors. This could range from decisions about splurging on a treat to how much to save in a retirement account. The third building block is financial decision-making skills. This is the knowledge and skills needed to understand the financial world and make informed financial decisions. These help people weigh options and make informed choices for their financial situations, such as deciding how and when to save and spend, comparing costs before a big purchase, and planning for retirement or other long-term savings. So again, it isn't too early to start talking to your kids about money. This chart breaks down the different ages and how they start to develop skills that allow them to think and talk about money. So from 3 to 5, children begin to develop the foundational skills related to executive function. Their basic values and attitudes related to financial concepts begin to form, and they begin to understand math and numbers needed for financial skills. In middle childhood, from ages 6 to 12, their executive function skills and behaviors continue to grow. Their financial habits and norms really start to take shape as they start to form independent identities, observe how family members and peers interact with money, and begin to learn financial lessons. And children learn basic concepts about money management at this age. For adolescents, which is ages 13 to 21, executive function continues to mature, habits and norms about money continue to develop, and youth solidify financial knowledge and decision-making skills, which become more relevant in their everyday lives. They're finally faced with some big decisions about money, and especially with today and how much college debt a lot of young adults are taking out, they are really making tough decisions about money at a young age that can have a long-term effect on their lives. So we're going to go over a few topics related to money and how you can talk to your children about those topics, as well as some activities that you can do with your kids to try to really reinforce those topics for them. So the first one is earning. Some ways to talk about earning with your children is to go over the fact that money has to be earned. You can talk about what are ways to earn money. You can earn it from a job, selling of a good or service, and other ways. And then money can also be given as a gift. Talk about ways kids can make money. They don't really have jobs as children, or they shouldn't, but what are some other ways they may be able to make some money? Do they get an allowance? Could they try to do a lemonade sale or a garage sale? Maybe selling a service like mowing the lawn or shoveling snow for some small amount of money. And then talk about the ways adults earn money. What jobs can adults have? What jobs would kids want when they grow up? So some activities that you can use to really reinforce talking about earning with your kids. The first one is a chore chart. You can ask your child to choose something he or she wants, such as a toy, outing, or privilege. Give your child jobs to do around the house and assign points for each job, such as 10 points for cleaning your room, 15 points for raking the leaves, and share how many points it will take to earn a given reward. Create a chart to track the number of points earned so they can see how close they are to their reward or what they might need to do to get there. And this is a really great activity because it's just points. You don't have actual money. And so it's really easy for any family to do. The second one is explore interests. So have your child write a list of personal interests. Encourage your child to explore those interests on their own or together as a family. For example, if your child has an interest in cooking, ask them to help you cook a meal, or discuss how their interests could be recognized in different jobs that may relate. And the last one is an allowance. So consider having your child earn an allowance for different tasks like good grades, chores, and discuss ways to save or spend that money that they earn. The next topic you can talk to your kids about is saving. So once you earn money, you can either save it or spend it. You can talk with them about why it's important to save. Saving money allows you to save up for something you really want. Saving money allows you to be prepared to pay for emergencies that may come up. And if you spent every dollar you earned once you got it, you'd never be able to save up for something even bigger and cooler. You can also talk to your child about certain things that you must spend money on in life. So this may not be something that they can see right away, but talk about some of the things that we have to pay for. We have to pay for a house to live in. We have to pay certain bills. And providing your child with an understanding of that can help them to understand why they may need to save up some money for the future. Discuss the importance of having money values. So what is important to buy? What can we do without or have a cheaper version of? And once we know what our money values are, do we stick to them? It's really important to talk to your kids about having values on how they want to spend their money. That way they can feel confident that they are making informed decisions about when to spend their money, what to spend their money on, and that can help guide them and provide them with a strong foundation for future spending. Having a saving account can help your money grow. You can talk to your children about interest and how if you have a saving account, your money that's in there is earning interest. Discuss the benefits of having a bank or credit union account. You can talk about how those are safe and allow for you to get interest and can help you form your financial future. And then talk about the importance of having a plan to save. If we just say we're going to save without really having a plan for it, it's a lot harder to do. So some activities for saving that you could do with your children, you can decorate a savings jar or box. So have your child decorate a jar or box of their own that they can use to put money into for savings, and talk with them about some ideas of what they might want to save for. The ability to have them decorate one and make their own can kind of allow them to feel a little bit more inclined to save or feel like they have ownership of their savings jar or box. You can also do an allowance with a budget. So provide your child with an allowance and help them to create a budget to decide how they will spend and save their money. And then for younger children, a really good activity is reading Alexander, Who Used to Be Rich Last Sunday. It's a book about a kid who's struggling to save and how he kind of ends up wasting some of his money along the way. And a really good part about this book is that if you don't have the book, you don't need to buy the book. You can find a read aloud video of the book on YouTube, and the link is in there. So when you receive these slides, you can go ahead and check that out. The third topic we're going to talk about is planning. So having a plan about how to spend money is an important way to make sure we are spending in line with our values and saving what we can. So some ways to talk to your kids about it: you can ask them to set a goal for something they want and talk about the steps it would take to get it. Over time, you can check in to see how the steps are going and whether the goal is still important or if maybe it needs to be updated. Share your own tips and strategies for how you make plans and get yourself to stick to them. And tell your children before you spend, have a plan in mind. Again, it's just really reinforcing those concepts that if I want to spend my money, I need to think about how I want to spend my money. And practice making a list before you go to a store or on a shopping trip. You can talk about how easy or hard it is to stick to that list. So some planning activities, we kind of already touched on them in the last slide, but you can make a shopping list with your child before going shopping and then take them with you and remind them why it's important to stick to the list. So if they see something really cool or yummy that they want to buy, remind them that we have a list for a reason. If it's not on the list, we're not going to buy it today. You can discuss what a budget is. So help your child make a budget or talk to them about the family budget. You can even show them some sample budgets. There's a link there to a website that has some really good sample budgets for a wide array of different topics. And lastly, have your child set a goal for an item they want, and check in with them on the progress of how they're deciding to get to that goal. The next topic we're going to talk about is shopping. So it's really important to talk to your kids about shopping because they see you do it, we do it all the time, and they are taking in your habits and activities and the habits and activities of other people that they see. So it's important to have a conversation that might guide their thinking about shopping. So the first thing you can do is talk to them about needs versus wants. You can explain the difference between a bargain versus a scam. So what is actually a really good deal that they are saving money on, and what is something that isn't really that good of a deal and is just trying to get you to spend the money that you probably wouldn't have spent had there not been that sign or flyer about it. You can discuss that advertising is designed to make you want to spend money, and kind of talk about some smart ways to take in advertising and not be influenced or pushed to buy something unless it's really something you want and is in line with your money values. You can talk about comparison shopping, explain something might be a different price at two different stores and why it's helpful to check that out before making a purchase. Discuss impulse buying and how small purchases add up very fast. A candy bar from the checkout line each time you buy groceries could add up to a lot of money by the end of the year, and maybe even do the exercise of adding that up with them. If you go to the store with them once a week and every week they ask for a candy bar, take the price of that candy bar and multiply it by 52 weeks, and how much are you looking at for the year? Explain what sales tax is and remind your child that it makes items cost more than the listed price. So if they have $3 and they pick up something that's $2.99, they might not actually have enough to pay for it once sales tax is put on. And share your family's spending and savings habits and priorities. What does your family spend money on and why? So some activities you can do with your kids around shopping. The first one is comparison shop. So look at online ads or ones in the newspaper and find one item that's a different price at two different stores. Show it to your child and explain that stores run ads at different times, and it's always smart to look at the prices at different stores to find the cheapest option and save money in the long run. Teach your child about coupons and discount cards. Have them help you find and cut out coupons for things you buy at the grocery store. And when you go to the store, have them find the item and hand the coupon to the checkout person or feed it into the machine. When you get your receipt, show them the discount you got because of the coupon. You can also check out this activity guide from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to help your kid learn about sales tax. Again, that's linked here. When you receive the slides, you can take a look at that. And help your child learn how to become an expert at understanding advertisement at another link from the Century Heritage Federal Credit Union. Or do a word search from the Century Heritage Federal Credit Union. Once your child finds the words, can they tell you what they mean? All right, the next topic is borrowing. So you can talk to your kids about the pros and cons of saving versus borrowing money. Explain that a credit card is not free money, but money that you borrow. And discuss that if you don't pay your credit bill off on time, you will have to pay back more than you borrowed. You can talk to them about interest rates and how some interest rates can be higher than others and how that can add up pretty quickly. Reinforce that you should not use a credit card to buy things you cannot afford. Reinforce that you should aim to pay off your bill in full each month, and discuss how a savings and spending plan can help you avoid credit card debt. And you can also talk to your kids about the concept of a credit score that relates to borrowing money and how we have to borrow money in life for certain things. There are different loans we're all going to end up borrowing money for, and just make sure you talk to your kid about smartly borrowing money, because it's not really something that you can avoid altogether, but it is something that can lead to some struggles if we don't do it smartly. So some activities you can do with them about borrowing: you can go to the library with your child and borrow a book or a movie. Compare borrowing a book or movie from a library to borrowing money or using a credit card. When you borrow from the library, you have the item for a set amount of time and have to return it when it's due. If you return it after the due date, you get charged a fine. It's similar with borrowing money or using a credit card. If you don't pay the money back by the due date, then you get charged a fine, or as we call it, interest. You can also watch this video that's linked here from the St. Louis Federal Reserve about a boy named Daniel who is trying to buy a new bike helmet. Talk with your kid about the benefits of saving versus borrowing. Explain that borrowing can be both helpful and unhelpful, depending on the situation. Ask your child why borrowing was helpful in the video and how it was also unhelpful. All right, and now we're going to talk about protecting. So discuss what personal information is with your child: name, birth date, address, phone number, school name and address, credit card numbers, social security numbers, passwords, etc. Discuss why keeping personal information private is important. People can use it to steal their identity and open fake accounts or credit cards in their name, which can be really damaging. Set and enforce internet rules: what information your child is allowed to give out or enter, and which websites they can visit. Kids often don't know about this stuff, and so they may give out information that they probably shouldn't be without really thinking about it. So if we can have those conversations with our kids up front, they may be safer in the long run. Talk about why it might be risky to post vacation pictures on social media while your family is still out of town. Encourage open communication with your child. You want them to tell you if something online scares them or makes them uncomfortable. Some activities you can do with your kids about protecting: show your children safe websites and identify how to determine that they're safe. Explain that websites that start with HTTPS are safer than sites that don't start with this. Teach them to also look for the lock icon that appears to the left of a web address on secure sites. While these alone do not always guarantee a website is safe, it's a good place to start when determining if a site is safe to use. And you can also sit down and ask your child to name some personal information that belongs to them. Explain how their personal information can be used to open accounts or credit cards, and that it's very important to keep their personal information safe so that their financial reputation is positive when they become adults. Again, a good point to bring up a credit score and how that can follow you throughout your whole life. And so if there's fraudulent activity or someone's using a credit card in your name, it is going to negatively affect their credit report and score. So we know children love computer games, so here are some that you can have your kids play while also learning about money. So the first set is dealing with coins, so for the younger children, and then it's broken down by age. So you guys can take a look at those when you get these slides, and there's links to all those games. And then we also have books to improve kids' financial knowledge. So you can read with them, or you can have them give them books to read on their own. We have the link to some books from the CFPB. They have a long list of books you can read with your kid, as well as the St. Louis Federal Reserve has some information there too for you to take a look at. But that is about it. So thank you for attending today. And if you have any further questions about any of this, or would like some more direction on information or more activities than what we had here today, you are welcome to go ahead and shoot either myself or Abby, our other outreach coordinator, an email or give us a call, and we will get back to you. Thanks.